Ramadan is almost here, but before the first fast, there's a question every believer must ask. Is your heart truly ready? It's not just about food, sleep, or schedules. True readiness begins within. A heart that is clean, humble, and full of sincerity transforms every fast, prayer, and dua into a powerful act of worship. Today, let's explore how to prepare your heart so that this Ramadan becomes a turning point in your spiritual journey, not just another month on the calendar. Preparing for Ramadan begins with understanding that true readiness comes from the heart, not just physical habits. Many people focus on meal plans, sleep schedules, and daily routines, yet forget that worship is only accepted when the heart is alive with sincerity. A heart that is attached to Allah responds differently to fasting, prayer, and patience. When the heart is neglected, actions become empty rituals. Spiritual preparation means creating space for awareness of Allah, cultivating humility, and developing a desire to obey Him. This inner readiness allows a believer to experience the deeper purpose of Ramadan, where discipline turns into devotion and worship brings real transformation, rather than temporary change. Self-reflection before Ramadan is an act of courage and honesty with one's own soul. It means taking time to review intentions, habits, and choices made throughout the year, without excuses or self-justification. Standing accountable before Allah in private moments helps a believer recognize weaknesses that need correction and strengths that need gratitude. This process awakens the conscience and brings awareness of how closely one lives by faith in daily life. Through sincere accountability, the heart becomes alert and responsible. When Ramadan arrives, this awareness helps a person guard their actions, words, and thoughts, making worship more mindful and purposeful. Sincere repentance is a doorway that reconnects the servant with Allah before Ramadan begins. It requires admitting mistakes without pride and feeling genuine regret for what displeased Allah. Repentance is not only seeking forgiveness with the tongue, but also turning away from the behavior that caused distance from Allah. This step removes the spiritual weight that burdens the heart and blocks progress. When a believer repents sincerely, hope replaces guilt, and mercy replaces fear. Entering Ramadan with a cleansed record allows worship to rise freely, making fasting and prayer lighter, more focused, and filled with trust in Allah's mercy. Holding on to grudges and jealousy quietly hardens the heart and drains spiritual energy. Before Ramadan, releasing these feelings is an act of worship that brings inner peace. Forgiving others does not mean approving wrong actions, but choosing Allah's pleasure over personal anger. A heart weighed down by resentment struggles to find humility in prayer and patience in fasting. When negative intentions are removed, the heart becomes lighter and more open to mercy. Clearing these emotions allows a believer to focus on self-improvement rather than comparison. Ramadan then becomes a month of healing, where the soul grows through mercy, patience, and emotional balance. Renewing intention before Ramadan gives direction to every act of worship. It means deciding in advance that fasting, prayer, and sacrifice are for seeking the pleasure of Allah alone, not for habit or social expectation. A clear intention protects actions from showing off and keeps the heart focused during moments of weakness. When intention is refreshed, small deeds gain great value and challenges are faced with purpose. This inner decision shapes how Ramadan is experienced, turning daily struggles into acts of devotion. With sincere intention, every effort becomes meaningful, and consistency in worship becomes easier to maintain throughout the month. strengthening the connection with Salah and the Quran. Before Ramadan builds a strong spiritual foundation. Making prayer more attentive and regular creates discipline that carries into the blessed month. Spending time with the Quran, even in small portions, develops familiarity and love for Allah's words. This preparation helps the heart respond quickly when Ramadan increases opportunities for worship. When prayer becomes a source of comfort and the Quran a source of guidance, spiritual growth feels natural rather than forced. Entering Ramadan with this connection already forming allows a believer to deepen understanding, consistency, and reflection instead of struggling to begin. Increasing remembrance of Allah throughout daily life keeps the heart awake and aware. Simple acts like remembering Allah while working, resting, or facing difficulties bring calm and clarity to the soul. This constant awareness reduces distractions and helps control the tongue, thoughts, and reactions. When remembrance becomes a habit, it protects the heart from heedlessness and emotional extremes. Before Ramadan, building this practice trains the soul to stay connected beyond specific acts of worship. As a result, fasting is observed with consciousness, patience grows naturally, and moments of silence turn into opportunities for spiritual closeness with Allah. Asking Allah for a soft, humble, and sincere heart is one of the most powerful preparations before Ramadan. A softened heart easily accepts guidance and responds quickly to reminders. Humility removes self-reliance and replaces it with trust in Allah, allowing a believer to depend on His mercy rather than personal effort. Sincerity protects worship from being driven by praise or routine. Through consistent supplication, the heart learns submission and patience. When Allah grants these qualities, worship becomes deeper and more meaningful. Entering Ramadan with a humble and sincere heart opens the door to lasting spiritual change and closeness to Allah. As Ramadan approaches, let your heart be your priority, for a prepared heart turns every fast, prayer, and action into true worship. May Allah soften our hearts, accept our repentance, and grant us sincerity in every deed this blessed month. If you make this intention, you are taking the first step toward a transformative Ramadan. Share this reminder with others, subscribe to Graceful Deen for more guidance, and comment below your heartfelt dua for a ready and devoted heart this Ramadan.